Hey there friends, how's it going? My name is Rabbit and welcome back to more Let's Play Jade Cocoon 2, episode 186, as we are continuing to make our way through the bonus forest here in the postgame. In our last episode, we had just wrapped up island number 2 here in water tier, and we're ready to kickstart this video by exploring water tier number 3. So let us do just that. As for I guess specific things that went down, we did have a cutscene with Cinnamon, who shared with us part of the motivation behind sending the Sweet Knights to the forest where we found them so far was based on the fact that the producer wanted to color coordinate it a bit. I don't know what that means for Mint herself. Oh my god, those things are a little bit whack and scary, but we just dodged it, and yes, it's been a while since we've seen a 10-dye herb. That is what I'm talking about. See, this is what I meant, you guys. It's the water forest that gives you the good shit. All the other forests, I feel like the drops are kind of lame. I think the advantage to the wind forest is that you... Yeah, I'd say the wind forest has the advantage of giving you the mixer, so you can kind of create your own shit, but... no, just for raw drops, I am team water forest 120%. So yeah, we spoke with Cinnamon rather, who shared with us the motivation behind sending all of them to whichever forest they ended up in was based on the color of their outfit. So Cinnamon is here in the water forest because she wears blue. I guess Kokona is in fire because she wears red. Choco will be in earth due to green. And we saw Vanilla in the wind forest due to wearing yellow. So kind of a weird reason, but I get it. I get it. Color coordinating, it's a big deal in some worlds and for some people. As for stories that I did share with you guys, I was discussing that I witnessed a meltdown in a team meeting. And it just kind of reinforced the fact that I like doing my own thing. I like kind of working in smaller departments and smaller groups by myself, especially in workplaces or environments or departments that are predominantly women. I just feel like some of these people say too much and they are a little bit petty and a little bit crazy and they take things too personally. And don't get me wrong, I have days where I want to slap the shit out of people and I want to tell people to fuck off and talk about their mama and all that shit, but you compose yourself, you go into the bathroom, Agretsuko style, and you sing your death metal in the stall. Or in my case, you just sit there and you like count to 10 and think about your guinea pigs or think about fluffy puppies or kittens or something like that. But you find a way to cope with the bullshit of day-to-day corporate life. I think you just have to. But being an asshole, I mean, it can work in some places because I guess if you're assertive and you do a really good job, you being a dick is not going to be a big enough barrier to keep you from obtaining, I guess, better positions and a better status in a company. But I just feel like for the sake of humanity, people, please be kind to each other, or at least like try your best to be a good person. Like, I get it, some people are gonna get under your skin. People get under my fucking skin all the time. If you guys fucking social media, this is why I don't use social media a lot. Like, I post on my Facebook page, not even my personal one, I'm talking about my YouTube related Facebook page. I post there like once or twice a month. I'm thinking about posting to Instagram again every once in a while, but I'm not really too sure. That'll probably be like a once or twice every month kind of thing too. We'll see how it goes. I don't use Twitter anymore, and I don't use shit like Snapchat, and I don't look at Pinterest, and it's just not for me. I feel like people are too much online, and to be honest, if you guys could even see comments, oh my gosh, it is amazing how much people think that they and or their opinions matter when you are just a random person on the internet. It's insane. But I know I've also discussed before that for me, I feel like it's impossible for people to troll me. I don't really get offended by people being assholes or being mad or trying to offend me. I don't understand how some people let themselves get triggered by shit that people on the internet say. Because in my mind, I feel like the kind of person that would go out of their way to intentionally be a dick, their lives are clearly worse than yours, right? Because if they are so sad and upset that they feel motivated to try to take their anger unjustifiably on someone they don't even know, that says so much about them, but it doesn't say anything about you. So whenever people like leave me messages or emails or comments that are like racist or sexist or whatever, I don't think I've ever really been upset by a comment. Like sometimes there are things where it's just like, what the fuck, this person is crazy. Or sometimes it bothers me when people try to present their bullshit in an intellectual way. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? When people say really fucked up shit for like the first 5 sentences and then their last sentence, they try to clean it up and they're like, I hope you will consider this because blah, blah, blah. They try to drop that big vocab and try to make it seem like they are intellectuals that are saying this to be constructive. And it's like, you're delusional because everything that you've written before the sentence completely shatters the foundation of this end that you just threw on there to make yourself feel good about yourself and about what you said. So please get a life. Find someone who gives a shit. I don't care. My life is happy, and I'm sorry that yours sucks, and I'm sorry that you didn't achieve your potential or that you feel miserable with the hand you were dealt. My life is not perfect, but I'm really happy, you guys. I don't know if you can tell, like, I love my husband. I married my high school sweetheart. We both were able to obtain higher level degrees without incurring a lot of debt. I just feel like things are really good for us. Like, everyone has something they want to improve or areas that, maybe things didn't quite work out like you expected. Like, I know for me, I think if you had asked me at 15 where I would be by the time I was 29, I would have told you I knew I was going to get married early and settle down. But I guess more of what my goal and focus was, even in my early teens or mid-teens, was I wanted a family. Like, that was always something that was very, very important to me. Like, I wanted 4, 5, 6 kids. I wanted to live in, like, the countryside, like rural Kansas or rural Wisconsin, and have not necessarily a farm, but a house outside of, like, city limits somewhere where I have a lot of acres, maybe like 3, 4 acres of land, where if we wanted to, we could have a farm, but otherwise, just have a lake and have space for the kids to grow and have their friends over, and for me to host like church events and things. Like, that was what I envisioned for myself. And it didn't quite work out that way. So, honestly, like, that's a little bit of a disappointment. Like, I wish that Andrew had not been as adventurous and had not cast his lines and cast his line in so many different lakes, if you want to look at it that way, or pursued so many random opportunities everywhere. Because I'd say the last several years of our moves have revolved around him and things that he wanted to pursue much more than they've revolved around things for me. Like, I pretty much was done with all of my shit in 2011. So, maybe that's not fair. No, that isn't fair. I would say 2013 is more of when I was done. Like, I did a lot of teaching, and I had wrapped up my master's program, and that was when I started doing research. Because I had a strong educational background, but I wanted to explore other areas in, like, the health field. So, oh my God, please turn around. I don't want to deal with your shit. So I will be fair and cut off a couple of years from that. I would say I was done really with all of my travel and all of, like, my educational pursuits, at least for a while, in 2013. So the last 5 years and the last couple of moves that Andrew and I have done have been because of him, like him getting his master's and him doing his PhD or whatever, like him just looking at other opportunities, research options, things like that. Continuing educational opportunities, blah, blah, blah. You know the drill. But even with that in mind, that maybe my childbearing plan didn't come together, I feel like Andrew and I are the kinds of people that we're very go with the flow, and I'm okay if not everything works out exactly as I want it to. And I know that's something that some people struggle with because they like having control. I mean, who doesn't like having control? This is an aside, but I think it's really weird when people are like, You know, I'm just the kind of person that I love having control. I feel like a lot of people like to have control. Who doesn't want to be in control? Being hungry or not having access to running water or being enslaved to a person or a group or an institution, nobody thrives in that situation. I think all of us, to some extent, we need to feel like we're in control to feel comfortable or to at least feel secure. So, you know, it's not unique to want to be in control, but I think that what's really important is to know when you need to be in control and when it's not 100% necessary, and try to adjust your visceral and emotional responses based on which of the scenarios that you're staring down. So I used to struggle with that a little bit. I wouldn't say I've ever had issues with like anxiety, but stress and feeling overwhelmed is sometimes a problem because I do admittedly overwork myself and I kind of bite off a lot more than I should. I always have been able to chew and swallow everything, but it's hard getting that shit down. Let me just say, it's with a lot of gulps to usually swallow the bites that I take off in terms of work commitments, social commitments, life commitments, all that shit. It is, y'all, I do have a little bit of a problem with accepting opportunities when I already have kind of a lot on my plate. So it is what it is. I know that that's an area of improvement for me, and I think, though, for all of my flaws and faults, I think that's a good one to have, I would say. But anyway, I'm sharing all of that just to say that I don't really get why some people let trolls affect them so much, because I know for me anyway, whenever I get a really fucked up message, regardless of the person's motivation, I always start by looking at that. Like, what is their intention here? Are they genuinely trying to give constructive criticism, or are they just A, bitching because they're entitled assholes, or B, complaining because they're just unhappy, miserable trolls whose lives didn't turn out quite how they wanted them to, or they're having a bad day. Like, maybe they have a good life, but they're having a bad day and they want to take it out on you. I think it's important to try to think about it from other people's perspectives. Like, that doesn't mean that they're not trash, and that doesn't mean that they're not reprehensible and that they shouldn't be held accountable for the shit that they say. I absolutely think some people need to get punched in the face more, or called out more, or basically told, like, actually, in the grand scheme of things, you and your opinion, neither one really matters. You will more than likely die, and you won't make a difference, and you're not going to leave any sort of legacy or impact, and you have to just accept that. Like, and there's nothing wrong with that. And I think some people, they get very upset. Why is this guy just standing here? We are going to come back to this. I just need this guy to move. No, we were so close to squeezing by, but it's okay. It's all good. It's all good in the neighborhood. But, you know, like, I think you have to just sometimes let people know that. Bring them back down to earth. Deflate that giant ego and that giant head of theirs where, for whatever reason, they think that they're special and that their thoughts and opinions matter. Like, you guys should see. This is totally random, and I know this bears, like, no weight and it's not important. But sometimes the comments that people leave on YouTube channels or videos, not even talking about mine, I'd say for the most part, people that comment are fairly respectful here. I do get my share of asshats. But for me, it's as simple as, if you're going to act like an asshole, first of all, please know that I'm pretty untouchable in terms of you making me feel bad about myself. Like, what you say might annoy me, and I might even just be like, what a sad person. I actually feel sorry for you. So that's more of what's elicited when people send me really fucked up messages. Like, I pity you. I feel so bad that this is either, one, how you derive enjoyment, or two, how you cope with your own miserable life / the miserable day you've had. Like, that's really sad. And I hope that your life improves, because what a shitty existence it must be to be you if this is what you do in either of those scenarios that I laid out. So that's usually how I respond to those sorts of things, like, to be completely transparent with you. And I just, yeah, I don't know why some people take it to heart, but I see comments that other people leave on channels and videos, and it is a little bonkers. Like, I can't believe how crazy some people are, and just like, what possesses you to be so salty and to be just so fucked up? Like, people People, you got to get your shit together. That is what I'm trying to say. Like, end of the story, and the point of the story is, I guess there's 2 points to this. One, if you are having a bad day and you have to troll someone, I'm probably the best person to troll, because I don't think there's ever really been a situation where I've taken to heart what's been said and it's really impacted my ability to go about my day and to do the things that I want to do, because, I mean, let's be real, like, your opinion of me doesn't really matter. I have a really good life, one that I know a lot of people probably envy, and I'm sorry that your life maybe didn't turn out as great as the one that I've had to work hard to obtain myself. Like, my life didn't start out easily either, and I get it, and I think maybe that's also why I have this position on people who are trolls, and why I do tend to feel sorry for you more than I get offended, because I've met people through YouTube that they get so triggered whenever they get any sort of criticism, whether it's justified or not. Like, it ruins their day, and then they act like assholes, and they become paranoid, and they take it out on you. People do that a lot in general anyway, right? Like, what are you gonna do about it? I guess you can't really do much. That's just who they are, and you have to understand that they are flawed, and nobody's perfect, and they got to figure their shit out, and you just might have to draw the line in the sand and be like, you are too many steps behind me, and I cannot wait for you to catch up. Like, you got to get your shit together. And sometimes that's what you have to tell people. But, so I've met people like that who they just are so weighed down by things people say to them, and I'm just not that person. If you're having a bad day, and I guess you have to take it out on someone, you can take it out on me, because I know that my life is really good, or pretty good. You know, I have access to electricity. I have access to running water. I have a very stable career. I have decent savings. Like, I feel like I have job security because I have so many varied skills. So even if, like, one avenue doesn't work out for me, like, if I decided today I never want to teach again, don't want to do it, I don't care about the atmosphere, not teaching anymore, I still have like 3 different environments I could pursue for work. Like, I could work easily in just doing hard sciences and research. I could do more consultative or counseling type work. I can do so many different things. I can work as an actual practitioner or a specific type of service provider in the health and mental health fields. I could go back to social work. Like, I'm really not too worried about job prospects for me. So that's a stress that I don't have to, or a burden I don't have to bear that I know some people do, which is unfortunate. And I feel bad that some people have to carry and shoulder that burden so heavily. But it doesn't give you the right to be a dick to other people, I guess, is really what I'm coming down to. And I think also it's important to acknowledge that I think you have to sometimes just seize the life that you want. Like, I definitely did not have an easy life that was handed to me. You know, my mom was, it's hard to say this because you feel bad throwing your parents under the bus, but my mom was definitely abusive. And I think that created a lot of problems.
Hi. Hi. Hey, Kahu, isn't Nam your rival? Yeah, but we're friends. Sure, do you know Nam too? A little. I met him at the arena. Oh, and? For what? I lost. I got a real thrashing. He said, I'm not giving up until I can beat Kahu again. But what about you, Cure? Aren't you frustrated at losing? Yeah, I'm frustrated, but winning isn't everything. What do you mean? Think about it. 2 people fight, right? So one of them has to lose. Rather than winning, I think the thrill of 1-to-1 combat is more fun.
Well said, Cure, and how appropriate for what we're talking about. You don't always have to be on top. You don't always have to be number 1. And you don't have to take away someone else's sparkle for you to shine.
Well, I guess this does sound like an excuse for losing, huh?
Now, girl, you do you. I think that actually like aligns very nicely with what I was expressing and the point I was trying to make, that I think, you know, my life wasn't easy. I had to basically hustle and take the life that I wanted for myself, because things started off not super great just due to my mom being crazy. And I feel like is there another path for us to explore, or did I go through everything already? How did we even get past some of these guys? I'm just trying to look and see. I think we did go everywhere, didn't we, friends? I'd say we did. I don't think there's much to miss, and we got the cutscene with Cure at the very least, so we'll just get into one more fight. Fuck my life. I wanted to get the initiative, and of course he turned around. Why wouldn't he turn around? I couldn't get that lucky. So, just bringing all of this back around. I have like 3 different like side rants going from this main path here, and this main point I'm trying to make, that you can't take to heart too much what people say. You have to take everything in context. Think about this other person's motivation. Most of the time, people are just trash, and you have to just realize that their actions are a reflection of them, not you. And I think if you are one of those people, you need to just think about what can you do to acquire the life that you want. Like my mom, as I was beginning to say, was absolutely insane, and I had a pretty bad childhood. My father was terrific, and losing him last August is probably one of the biggest holes that I've had to bear in my heart, and one of the biggest obstacles I've ever had to overcome. And I don't know if I'm ever going to fully heal. Ow. I don't know why I always hit my hand, you guys. What is my problem? But it's probably one of the biggest obstacles that I will ever have to overcome. Like, losing my dad has fucking sucked. And even though, you know, we're well into May and coming up on the anniversary of his death, like, I can't believe we're almost at a year, because I don't feel that much better. And I know I've said this in the last couple of vlogs that I've done about it over the last like 6 months, that I don't cry every day like I used to when it first happened, but I still feel that emptiness, and I feel the loss so heavily. And although a lot of people say all the time, like, oh, it'll get better, at first people were saying, you just gotta give it a couple of months and you'll feel better. And then I had people that were saying, oh, you know, it has to be at a year you'll feel better. I'm almost at a year and I don't really feel better. And I think I have to be honest with myself and accept the fact that I probably won't fully be me ever again, because my dad was such a big part of my happiness, and he was one of the only pieces of happiness that I had growing up. So losing him, I do feel like an orphan, even though my mom is still living. Like, we have not talked in many years, and I'll probably never see her again. You know, I think I was 22, 23. Maybe I was 23. Isn't that bad? I honestly don't even remember how old I was when I last saw my mom. It's been at least 6 years, you guys. At least 6 years. Well, I should say at least 5 years, more like 6 years since I last talked to her. And I probably, like, when she dies, I probably won't go to her funeral. I probably won't even get invited. And I don't talk to anybody on her side of the family. And it's sad. It's so unfortunate. But it is what it is, you know? Like, I can't be held accountable for other people's shitty choices. And you can only be the better person for so long, you know? And I think, again, that applies even to interactions with people online and social media. Like, people are too crazy, and they say too much, and they're too entitled, and they think that they matter more than they do. And sometimes you gotta let people know, like, actually, you don't affect me, you're not that important to me, and I really could care less about your feelings. Like, I try to be courteous, I try to be generous, and I try to be thoughtful, but if you say too much bullshit to me, and I don't think people realize this about me quite yet, like, I don't even really respond. Like, it's not even worth responding to when people act super nuts. Like, sometimes I try to give you the benefit of doubt, and when you say some mad bullshit to me, I'll take the time to pick apart your bullshit and say, like, okay, I get the heart of what you're trying to get at, or, you know, maybe I'm assuming that you're a better person than you are, but this is what I think you're trying to say. Here's why your delivery is fucking stupid, and why what you're saying is fucking stupid. But I'll hear you out, and I'm willing to talk about it. And usually people just rage when you you know, kindly, but still very matter-of-factly pick apart the fact that what they're saying is nonsense. People don't like that. They don't like being called out, even if you do it in a really nice way. But I think the thing is, you know, regardless of whether I do choose to respond to you or not, like, you have no power over me, like, at all. Like, none of this really matters, and I don't think people get that because they think social media and the internet is everything to them, or they think their reputation online or in their school or whatever is important to them. And honestly, for me, do you guys know what's important to me? My marriage is super important to me. My interactions with people that I love and that actually make a difference to me, those things matter to me. The internet, not that important to me. Social media, obviously I don't give a shit. I don't use most of it. And even YouTube, as much as I love sharing these memories of video games with you guys, like, if I had to, like, if someone offered me, like, certain opportunities, like, if someone said it's either between you having a child this year or having, like, a super popular YouTube channel that makes you a bunch of money, like, I would definitely pick having a kid over being YouTube famous. Like, it's not even a competition, you guys. So anyway, maybe that just tells you a little bit more about me. So for those of you who think that I care that much and that it matters to me, I can easily just block someone or, you know, delete/mute you, and I never think about you again. And my life is still good and happy. But can you say that about yours? Work on you, and I'll work on me. That's it. Mic drop. Anyway, friends, we are done with exploring water tier. I feel like we're going through this a little fast. We're ready to dive into water tier 4 when we come back together in episode number 187. So we will just go ahead, leave it at that, and I'll see you right back here. So thanks for watching. I am your host, Rabbit, and this is my playthrough of Jade Cocoon 2, where we are navigating the bonus forest here in the post game. I'll see y'all in just a second.